BookTube, it's Missy, and today I'm here to share with you guys my November wrap-up. I do have a little pile of books here. I am proud of myself, like normal, and hopefully, I can do better this month. But I did read all of these, which seems like a lot, but I swear, because they're all rollovers, it's not like I started them in November, so I completely cheated, but what can you do? All right, the first book I want to talk about is a nonfiction, and that is Death in Yellowstone, Accidents and Foolhardiness in the First National Park. This is the second edition, written by Lee H. Whittlesey. Now, he works in Yellowstone and has lived in Yellowstone for the last 30 or so years. He is an expert in these stories because not only has he worked with some of these people that have perished in this book, but he's interviewed people who have lived in Yellowstone their whole lives, and he's gone through archives of newspaper and other forms of media to supply the information for this book. Now, there is a huge section in the back for, it says here, chronology, and there is like an appendix and everything. So this much of the book, like all of these pages, which is about like 50 to 60 pages, is all just fact information if you wanted to like fact check it and see where he got all of his information from. Am I making any sense? Hopefully I am. Anyways, it took me a good 2 months. Let's see. I started this September 24th and I finished it on the 13th. So yeah, 2 months to read this entire book. My kids enjoyed it. And it's funny because I've never read a nonfiction to them before, but because we stayed in Yellowstone for a week in the summer, they knew the places that I was talking about, and so it was more interesting because of that. Also, I did not bore them to tears. We only read for 15 minutes every single day out of this book, so about 1 to 2 pages, so it wouldn't be so dry, because really there's no like comedy in this. It is exactly what it says. There's death from springs, there's death from avalanche, there's death from murder and hanging, and car wrecks and drownings and electrocutions and lightning and storms, and it's just so much death. And my 13-year-old was getting super angry because he's like, how can people be that dumb? And I'm like, look, not everybody has me as a parent. I protect you guys. I don't let you out of my sight. I'm a little overprotective, I should say. And it's because I love you so much. It's creepy. Anyways, I did enjoy this book. I don't think I'll pick it up ever again. I don't know if I should keep it for sentimental reasons because, hey, we went to Yellowstone, or if I should give it away. But I will ask him first and see. It was definitely worth the read. If you have stayed in Yellowstone at any point in your life, I would pick this up once just to read all the way through to find out whether or not you should go back. Because now that I know how so many people have died, it makes me wary. I went in with blinders on. I didn't know what was going on, and now I'm just like, oh, I could have died at any moment. Wonderful. All right, the next book that I finished in November was Pet Sematary. This was our September pick for the Stephen King read-along, but I was slow to pick it up. I didn't love it as much as I thought I would. Of course, I love all of Stephen King, and I can't remember what I rated this. Do I have it on my stuff? I did rate this one 4 stars. And let's see. Pet Sematary, I also rated 4 stars. So the reason why it's not a 5 is because it just wasn't scary. And it's so hard for me to be scared while reading a book because I know what's coming most of the time. I've seen this movie, so I knew what was going to happen and what the story was about, so I wasn't going in clueless. But at the same time, because it is a story, I figured that the really gruesome bits from the movie would be more exaggerated in the written form. And it wasn't. It's just like The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty. If you've seen the movie, you know how creepy it is for Regan to be spewing that pea soup and for her head to spin and for all this demonic things to be happening to her and the bed and the people around her. Same as this one. It works better in movie form. In the written form, you just don't get the creepiness that is Gage coming back. And you just don't get it. And then of course we have the main character. What's his name? Creed is his last name. I can never remember. Lois. The thing with Lois is there is a character flaw that I call the Scully, where you can see something with your own eyes and you completely are against it. You debunk it at every go. You're like, there's no way this is possible. I don't believe it. I'm going to be ignorant of the whole thing, even though it's happening right in front of you. And you know you're not imagining because other people see this too. You are blatant. No, that's not happening. And that's how Lois was, or Lewis was in this book. It was just driving me crazy. I'm like, your ideas and the things that you're doing are wrong. And you know you're wrong, but you can't help yourself. And it was just like, it was sad. This is more of a sad story than it is of a scary story. And for those of you who absolutely love this book, I'm not pooping on it whatsoever. I love Stephen King. I love his writing. I loved this story. It just wasn't scary. I didn't find any of it scary. It just made me frustrated because I knew it was coming. And also there's like a build-up, you know. The neighbor tells them, don't do it. And of course, Lewis does it anyway, which that's what he gets. That's what he gets. Everything that happened to him, he paid for it. He says so in the book over and over again. I paid for this. Yes, you did. So that's why it's going to happen. It's happening like that. All right. The next book I picked up is the Nyctophobia. I didn't know what that meant. I had to look it up. A nyctophobia is the fear of the dark. Little kids have nyctophobia until, you know, they're a little bit older when they realize monsters aren't real. But this can happen to anybody at any age. This is about a woman who is afraid of the dark as an adult. And she lives in London with her mom. They have a very touch and go relationship. The mom blames the daughter, or our main character, for a lot of things, and our main character is very resentful because things happened in her past that the mom would not acknowledge. The mom felt that she was lying, and that's really sad, especially when it comes to what our main character had to go through and having no help and no support. So with that being said, one day she's at a party and meets her soon-to-be husband. He's there for work reasons, and they meet, and it's a very fast whirlwind of a relationship, and then they're married, and she's moving to Spain where his family is from. And she gains a stepdaughter, like, within a couple months. She's married and has a stepdaughter and is moving out of London. And she's got this whole new, you know, look on life because she feels like she has escaped her mom and her dark past, and she's stepping into the light with this new relationship and new, like, she's got this new journey that she's going on. So she is in the hunt of a house, and she finds one in a town outside of Marbella. I can't remember what the town is called. But it's in South Spain, and it's a house that's built right on the face of a mountain, like on the cliff of a mountain. And it's so majestic because it's always in sunlight. Like, the whole day it's absorbing all the sun it can possibly get. It's called the Hyperion House, and it is called that because it is, you know, it was built as like a tribute to Hyperion. I think he's the sun god. Am I wrong? I could be wrong, but the person who built the house built it for his wife, who was also afraid of the dark. So what perfect foreshadowing for our main character to move into this house. This is a haunted house story for the most part. The twist at the end I did not see coming. And it wasn't scary. I didn't find this scary, but it was very creepy. And if you liked the book by Ian Reid called I Think I Want to End Things, I think that's the title. I'll leave, here is the picture of the book that I'm talking about. But if you liked that slow build-up of the story where it's kind of like nothing's really going on, and then all of a sudden you have this twist and you're just like, what? That's what this book did to me. So basically we have our main character. She went to school to be an architect, and she loves houses and the way things are built and so forth. Now her husband is in the wine business. He's not a vineyard, like a vineyard. You can't be a vineyard. He doesn't own a vineyard. He just sells wine to different countries. And so he tells her, he's like, I have to do a lot of traveling for the next 6 months, but then I'm going to slow down, and I'm going to push my job position to somebody else, and I'll be home more often with you and our daughter. So he goes, but for now, find something to do so you're not bored. And so she decides to really research the house that they've just purchased, and to find out who the previous owners were, why the creator of the house, the builder of the house, did it in this fashion. And yeah, she just researches it. And that's basically the whole book. She's just researching the house while things start slowly falling apart around her. And she starts thinking that she might be seeing things. And then there's this whole Scully aspect again, where I'm like, hello, it's not just you if other people are seeing it too. I liked it. I did give this one 4 stars as well. I highly recommend, if you like slow burning like mystery books, to find out some kind of twist at the end. Very good. I would like to read more of Christopher Fowler. His writing style was engrossing. It did make me want to keep picking up this book. It's my laundry book, so every Sunday when I went to go do laundry, I would read this. So it took me 5 sessions, but very good. I liked it. All right, I finished in November is Burnt Offerings by Robert Morosco. I got this in my Nocturnal Readers box. This is by Valancourt Books, and this is pretty popular. This was on a lot of the haunted house lists that I looked up for October to find, you know, what are the best haunted house books to read. And this came up a couple of times. This is about a small family, just a mom, a son, and a dad. And they all live in New York City in a very cramped, hot apartment. Like, the people downstairs and above and all the sides, like, it's so noisy and loud and it's dusty and there's never any parking, and they just want to be free during the summer. The wife is a stay-at-home mom, so she doesn't work, and the husband is a teacher. And they don't make enough on one income to move, but the wife decides that they have to escape for the summer. And so she goes in through all these different listings and finds a house that is incredibly gorgeous. I mean, she falls in love with this house immediately. And when she finds out that it's pretty cheap, that it's going to be affordable for the summer, she jumps on the chance and calls the woman up. Now, the husband is extremely skeptical. He's like, there's no way that this mansion, and essentially that's what this house is going to be affordable on their salary for the summer. They go and meet the owners of the house, and sure enough, it's affordable. There is a catch, though. Not only do they get to stay in this house for the next so many weeks, I think it's like 2 months, they get to stay in this house, but the owners expect them to kind of like make repairs. And also, by the way, my mom will be staying in the house with you guys. All you have to do is remember to bring her 3 meals a day. She's old, so she may not come out to eat the food, but don't worry, she's not sick. She is very well. We don't have to watch her, but I promise you she won't be seen from you guys either. And the husband's like, there's no way. There is no way I want to borrow or rent this house for the summer and then have to repair it and take care of an old woman. And the wife is like, I need this house. I need this house. And she's obsessed with antiques, and that's what she does at home. Like, she like saves little bits at a time from their paychecks to buy these little antiques that then she can obsessively clean and polish and shine. And like their whole house smells like lemon oil. Like, she's a fanatic when it comes to cleanliness and these antiques. So when she sees this house and all the antiques in the house, she's just like, oh, that's like me walking into like the Beast's library. You know, when Belle goes, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I could live here. I never want to be parted from this house because this library is so beautiful. That's what our main character is facing. She's like, this house has so much history, the antiques, I can't believe it's in this kind of state. They need to be repaired. This needs to be polished. I can't handle the way this place looks. And the husband, you know, surrenders because he understands that his wife like needs this. And they go about having the house for the summer. But the wife starts to become more and more interested in the house and not so much interested in her family. And while I was reading this, it reminded me of Rose Red, the movie that was like adapted from Stephen King's like short story. I do own the book. Thank you so much to the person that sent it to me. I'm sure I have your name down in the book. Please say I have your name down in the book. I try to remember, but sometimes I get so many books at once that and after doing the video and I start editing, I forget to go back to the physical copies and like start putting all those names in. Anywho, I really enjoyed this. This is another 4-star read. I had a very good reading month in November. I liked all the books that I read, and this was no exception. I enjoyed it. The ending I knew was coming. I mean, right off the bat, you can tell that this isn't going to end well. And and I'm the worst at like knowing what's going to happen because I'm so gullible. Like, I will be in the character's shoes the entire time, and then when the twist happens, I'm just like shocked. I cannot see into the future of any story and know what's going to happen. But this one was super easy because you could just tell. And it bothered me that the wife was just so blind to it. But of course, that was the point. They needed to have someone take over their house that was blind to it. And yeah, if you like haunted house readings, I would definitely pick up both of these ones. They're completely different, but at the same time, kind of the same, where an obsession becomes their downfall. Really much enjoyed those. And the last novel that I finished in November was The Lost Children by Caroline Cahogan. This was given to me by Serena or Nyctophobia by Nico. Thank you so much, Serena. My children absolutely loved it. I did give this a 4-star. It was slow going at the beginning, I think because I was only reading one chapter at a time to my kids each night. And the chapters are so short. They're like maybe 2 or 3 pages, 5 at the most. And so I would be done reading this book and on to the next book within 5 to 7 minutes. And so I don't think we invested enough time each night to really get engrossed in this story. However, it was interesting. We have a main character named Josephine. She lives in a small town where her father, he's not the mayor or anything, but he's like the richest man in town. And he owns a factory that makes gloves, which was what caught me, why I wanted to read this book. I'm going to read you the first paragraph. It says, Josephine Russing owned 387 pairs of gloves. She had them in wool and cotton and silk. She had them in plaid and paisley and print. She even had a pair that had been made from the fur of an albino sloth. If that is not a hook, I don't know what is. I'm thinking, yes, why does this girl have so many gloves? What? Who would wear a pair of gloves made out of albino sloth? It's not made out of sloth. It's made out of the fur of sloth. Ew! Nobody wants to wear sloth gloves. They're so cute. Anyways, so Josephine lives with a father. Her mom died when she was younger from sickness. And the father has a very stoic mannerism to him. Like, he doesn't really interact with his daughter at all. He makes sure that she is fed, that she gets new gloves every day, that she goes to school. But that's basically it. There's no hugging, no how was your day, no anything like that. And she's lonely. And not only that, but because the father makes all of the people in town wear gloves, all of the adults hate him and all of the kids hate her because, you know, she's a product of him. And so she's miserable at school and she hates it. And she only is happy when she's speaking to her science teacher because her science teacher doesn't have any biasm. That's not even a word. Isn't biased to Josephine. She likes her regardless of who her father is. And so one day Josephine is in the garden doing her science project, which is to plant a tomato plant and watch it progress from seed to plant and see how long it takes for the tomatoes to grow and so forth. When she turns around, she sees a extremely dirty boy with no shoes on, and she's not scared, but she's curious. So she says hi, and he doesn't say anything, and she goes, "You look hungry. Do you want to come inside?" And he's like, "Ooh, yeah." So she feeds him, and then he disappears, and then he comes back. And she, goes, "Oh, you want to see my room?" And this time around, he has a suitcase with him. And so he goes inside with her. He gets some more food. He goes up to her room. And then her dad comes home. And she freaks out because she doesn't want her dad to know that she's got a visitor. She hasn't asked if, anybody could come inside. And she's never been in the position where she would have to ask because she doesn't have any friends. But she's nervous, so she runs downstairs to greet her father. But when she returns to her bedroom, the boy is gone, and she doesn't know where he went. She had asked earlier in the day where he had come from, and he pointed towards her shed. So she figured that's where she would go. She would follow him to the shed and look for him in there. And that's where the story begins. It's kind of like Wizard of Oz meets Narnia. We have, so Josephine goes into the shed. She's looking for the boy when she magically disappears. She's falling through something. She literally trips and falls through this shed into this other world. And when she arrives in the other world, she's completely confused. All she wants to do is find her way home. And then she meets Fargus and Ida. Now, Fargus is the boy that she had recently met at her house. She ends up going to his house and it's his friend Ida, and also finds out that she is in a orphanage, or in this case, the institute, where every week the main people that run the institute, there's Stairway Ruth and Kitchen Maggie, they give one of their orphans to the master each week, so that way the brothers don't attack the facility. Now, the brothers are two monster-like creatures that have no mouths. So this was really creepy. They have quills like a porcupine. They're the size of a grizzly bear, but they don't have any mouths. So it's almost like a bear porcupine. They don't eat, but they can suck. And you don't know what happened. I won't tell you what they're sucking, because you find out at the end. But yeah, so the adults are afraid of the brothers. The whole town is afraid of the brothers. And Josephine is like pushed into this scenario because she tripped and fell through her shed. Her whole mission during the entire book is to find her way home. Fargus's mission in this whole book is to find his parents, and Ida just wants to get back to where she came from, which is from Gulm. That's the town she used to live in. Yeah, so the kids are on a journey, and Josephine finds out how to get home. And it was really cute. I enjoyed it. Like I said, 4 stars. If you like middle grade, there's no reason not to pick this up. It is definitely a fun read. The very last thing that I read in November is Revival. This is book 1, or volume 1, You're Among Friends, a rural noir by Tim Seeley and Mike Norton. Now, I started this back in October, but I didn't finish it, and so I finished it in November. It is about a town in Wisconsin where one day 23 people come back from the dead. It starts off where there's this man who's new at cremating people. He turns on the oven and he's telling the he's talking to someone in the background. He's just like, yeah, it's so easy. You set the oven to this temperature, you put the body in, you roll it into the oven, and everything catches on fire, and then you collect the ashes. But then he starts hearing screaming, and that's never happened to him before, because normally, and everyone double, triple checks that these people are dead. The person was dead, and they come back to life while they're in the oven, and he freaks out, and that's how the whole town finds out about these 23 people who have come back from the dead. So we have our main character's name is Dana, and she is a police officer. Her father is the sheriff of the town, and yeah, she joined the police force to make her dad proud of her. And her sister Martha, which everyone calls her M, is also one of our main characters. So the town has to be quarantined, and the whole world is waiting to see, are these people going to be evil? Are they good? How should we react to all these people coming back to life? Is it something that's contagious? If the dead people touch the living, will then they too become like immortal and continue to walk once they're dead? So yeah, very good. I liked it. I am definitely looking forward to the sequel, only because the ending really, really grabbed me. I'm like, okay, so there's a demon also in this book. I want to know how the demon goes with the people coming back from the dead. Is the demon controlling them? I don't know. But I can't wait to find out. And that is it. Those were all the books that I read in the month of November. Let me know down below what you read in November. What was your favorite book? And do you like themed months? For October, I did have a theme of haunted houses. Like I wanted to read all the haunted house books. Do you get tired of that kind of thing? Like could you pick up a theme and just read survival books or Christmas books? Like, are you that kind of person that is able to do that, or no, is that just too much of the same thing where you would get really tired really easily? Let me know down below. All right, I have to go. It is now 10:30, which means that it's time for me to get ready for work. I want to thank you for joining me today. Again, Vlogmas should be every day until Christmas. Wish me luck. If I miss a day, I do apologize, but I'm really going to try to bust these videos out and to continue to talk with you all. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!